believe we have Coach JT Stone on the line. JT, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. And JT, I appreciate you taking the time. Most people here probably don't know who you are. So tell us a little bit about your relationship with one of Iowa's new quarterbacks.
All right. So right now, like I said, I told you before, I just took a job in Charlotte. So I'm the new head coach at Harding University High. But I spent 10 years at the Santa Barbara High School where Deacon played for me. Actually, not even in high school. Deacon's been with me since fifth grade. So he's like a son to me. I've known him for a long time, trained him. And, yeah. So that's who I am. And I've been a part of this kid's life for a long time.
Oh, and again, I wanted to, just so everybody knows, I invited JT on this show because I wanted to get his perspective on what Deacon is bringing to this roster and to this quarterback room. Because as you know, JT, this quarterback room has undergone somewhat of an overhaul, to say the least.
Yes.
And I know Deacon has been, he's been all over the place, right? He committed to, am I correct in saying Fordham was his previous commitment, correct?
Yeah, that was when he was in a portal. Absolutely, he committed to Fordham. Obviously, it got to a point where, here's the deal. The portal's brutal for everybody, for every kid. There's still kids that are in it. So it was one of these things where, how much did we hold on? There were a lot of schools, a lot of Division I schools that showed interest. But the portal and coaches, it's one of these things where it's all about relationships. And I hate saying it, the portal's a dirty game, and coaches sometimes, play with these kids, but he had an opportunity. I think with Fordham, it was more of an academic situation where, hey, Deke, let's get there. It's academic. You're going to get a great education, and let's move on. But his whole deal was still in his heart. He wanted that Division I opportunity. He's a Division I football player, period. And I'm not going to talk about Wisconsin and what did not happen at Wisconsin, but all Deacon needed opportunity just to show what he had, and he wasn't allowed to do that at Wisconsin. That's the one thing I will say. So, but I'm happy that he landed at a Division I school where he's going to get a shot. Coach Bud Meyer is the coach that recruited him to Wisconsin, and then he had left from Wisconsin. And so when Bud Meyer got there, he reached out to Deacon, and it was, I believe things happen for a reason. So it was really good to see that. And I think Deacon is going to surprise a lot of people. The one thing I've encouraged him to do is be patient. Take your time, whoever the starter is, if you get an opportunity, just take your time and learn. And that's all Deacon wanted. He's got a live arm. He can throw the ball down there 80 yards down the field, and he's going to show everybody at the end of the day, exactly what he's about. And, I'm extremely happy for him, extremely happy for the kid.
So JT, talk a little bit, you talked about the live arm, but, and that's, you're trying to find information on a young man who was very successful, but played high school football a long ways away from Iowa. We don't often have quarterbacks besides maybe Spencer Petras here recently. We don't have many quarterbacks coming in from California. So, he threw for over 3,000 yards.
3,200 yards, I think, and he rushed for like 500 to 600 is what he had in our offense.
Yeah. So talk a little bit more about his game. What makes him unique? What makes him different from your average quarterback at this level?
I honestly think his size and his ability to throw the deep ball. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. That's the two major things that I think he are his strong points, is the deep ball and the fact that he can make those throws. He can make all the throws. There are some mechanic things that I think he's going to get better at that he still needs to improve at. But that's like with any quarterback. There's a lot to be desired. And I think with him is, Deacon doesn't want necessarily to come in and hey, I'm the guy. He wants to learn. And I think the biggest thing is once he gets that opportunity to learn, it's only going to show what he needs to do. And I was glad that he went to more of a pro-style offense, which is suited for him. Obviously, he can run the spread, but I think the fact that he's going to be able to have a running game behind him and make those play-action throws, those deep posts, those 15-yard comebacks, I think it's going to be really he's going to show what he can do. And I really think his arm and ability to throw the ball 15 to 20 yards down the field on a rope is really going to be something that I think he's going to expose himself at that, and I think it's going to be great for him.
So correct me if I'm wrong, JT. He redshirted in 21. Of course, he didn't play this year, so he's got 3 years left. Correct. Correct.
He's got 3 years left. Correct.
So what is his? You talked about being patient, and you've admonished him to be patient. Obviously, it's no secret that Iowa went out and got Cade McNamara, accomplished guy from Michigan early in the portal cycle.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but me and Deacon talked about that. I think that's a great thing. Deacon thinks that's a great thing. because he can sit and watch. He can sit, if he's not the starter, he gets an opportunity to get reps, to learn somebody's system and to sit behind a kid who can play. And that's all I can ask for him. I think the hardest thing is with a quarterback is putting a kid in the fire who's not ready. Will he be ready? Absolutely. So I think it's a very good situation. I think Deacon thinks it's a good situation. And he gets to learn. And I think that's the positive about this. He's hungry, but he's sensible. He understands what it's going to have to take for him to lead and especially in the Power 5 conference to get there. So me and him have talked about that. That's a great thing. He gets to watch a guy and learn. Absolutely.
So besides Iowa being a Power 5 school, a Big Ten school, and yep. certainly being a pro style offense, and in the yep. connection, of course, with John Budmeyer, what ultimately was it that attracted him to Iowa? Besides the obvious things, relationship with certain coaches.
Well, you know what's crazy is before he took the Wisconsin deal. I mean, Iowa State, Kansas. Yeah, I think he had a Kansas State offer. I mean, we talked about the prototypical type schools, and we talked about Iowa. But again, Iowa didn't come around, and I think if the opportunity was there, he might have went to Iowa. It's just one of these things where, he just wants a chance to play, and being in pro style offense, I think for him is very attractive. But he just wanted an opportunity to play, and at the end of the day, you go where you're wanted. It could be Hawaii, it could be Alabama. You go where you're wanted, and I just think that's what any kid wants, is that opportunity. And it could have been Nebraska, it could have been it could have been North Dakota State. Just when you're wanted and you get an opportunity to compete at a high level, and you feel like you're worth something, and I tell these kids all the time, you got to find out what your worth is, and I think he's on that chase to do that. So I mean, Iowa is a place where I really think he can fit in and do well. I do.
How big of an impact was it? I mean, how big of a pull was John Budmeyer in the whole situation?
Oh, I think it's big pull because I met John when he came in recruited Deacon when he was in high school, and just a phenomenal human being. He understood Deacon. He was able to watch Deacon, and the same things that I saw, he saw. And I've always told Deacon, college football is about relationships. If you have a relationship with a coach and he cares about you and he believes in you, you take that opportunity. And Budmeyer could have been at any school. That relationship, and hey, you know what? I'm gonna give this kid an opportunity, and that's all any kid needs is an opportunity to do something. And it was a no-brainer. When we got the call, I was like, Deacon, things happen for a reason, and I really think it was a relationship. And Budmeyer had already left; he had gone to, I believe, Colorado State, and went somewhere else, and he came back, and he knew Deacon was in the portal, and it was just a no-brainer. And I'll tell you right now, you guys got a sleeper. I mean, sometimes I think as coaches, people look at all these stars and they think the stars are everything. To me, they're not anything. I've seen kids that can play better than a 4 and 5 star kid, and Deacon's won. 100%. 100%.
Last question for me, Coach, and again, appreciate you calling in and taking a few minutes here on the show. Is there a quarterback, maybe a former college quarterback, or even a guy at the next level that you would compare Deacon's game to specifically?
I always called him Big Ben. Just because he reminds me of him. Just because the play action skills that Deacon has, and the fact that he can throw the long ball, and I just think he plays a lot like Big Ben. And I mean, that's who I've always compared him to.
Well, Coach JT Stone on the phone line. Appreciate you giving us a call, Coach, and we look forward to watching Deacon here over the next 3 seasons. And you're right, there may be some time to learn, but we're happy he's a part of this quarterback room and this offense that is going through some changes, and I think changes hopefully for the better.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you guys. Anything else you need from me, let me know. And you guys got a good one.